keep let it crank for a little bit now. Take a bit.
That was easy. Wow, that fucking fired right.
Yeah. I made me jump. It's like, oh.
Sweet.
Right. All right. So we fired the motor up there. Everything sounds good there. Mm-hmm. So we're going to leave the motor now until we get, we have an oil pressure gauge coming, a universal thermostat housing, the air fuel gauge, and some vacuum fittings that we need to hook up the brakes and all that. So what we're going to move on now to is the rear end, which, as you already know, we swapped in an 8.8 with 373 gears. Everything looks good there. The only thing is when I actually changed the pinion seal in the diff, and when I retorqued the nut on, the bearing preload was way too tight. So we're gonna pop that pinion out, which of course we have to pop the center section out. Instead of replacing it with just another pinion crush sleeve, I'm gonna measure that one. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a couple solid bushings, and I'll make one like 4 or 5 thousandths thicker than that one measures now, and another one like 7 or 8 thousandths thicker, and that way we'll be able to get the right preload on the bearing. And I did the same thing to my car and never had a problem with it. So that's what we're gonna do. Riley's got the cover all popped off.
Yeah.
So we're gonna, maybe we'll just double check our backlash. I know it was good before, but we'll just double check it and write that number down. So when we're putting everything back together, we'll know that we're back where we were. So that's what we're gonna do.
Yep.
So we got the diff out. Gears look good. That's a set of 373s. And what we're gonna do here, I'll just give the camera to Riley. The pinion spacer here. See, the problem, these are pretty much single use. So once you crush them, you've got your bearing preload. You really shouldn't reuse them. Sometimes you get lucky and you can. I have, but you're not supposed to. So anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a solid spacer instead of the crush sleeve. So I'll measure this one for 59, well, we'll call this 459 and 6/10. I'll measure it in a few different spots here. It's a little thinner there. 458 and 8/10. It's about a thou run out on it, but so basically what I'm going to do is I'll make a solid one, and I don't know exactly the right length that I need, but I'm going to make one that's probably 4 or 5 thousandths thicker than this one. Maybe I'll make 2 or 3, and I'll go up like a couple thou between, and then whichever one is right when we set the put the pinion back in and set the preload, that's the one we go with. So that's what we're gonna do. I'll do that at work tomorrow on the lathe. Make one out of, I don't know, like a titanium. I could. I think we got some titanium laying around.
Then we'll just test the different.
What's the thermal expansion difference between titanium and mild steel?
Not a clue.
Me neither, off the top of my head. I don't know, stainless steel, or I'll see what I got. If I have some tool steel, ideally, but I'll see what I got. I'll make 2 or 3 of those, and we'll figure out, once I make those, we'll get the preload right, and we'll throw that diff back together. In the meantime, until I do that tomorrow, we're going to drop the rad in here. We got the bungs for the overflow tank welded up. I don't know if you remember last video, we said we were going to mount it to the side here, but after rethinking that,
keep it all as one when you lift it out.
yeah, I'll keep it all as one. Keep it on the rad, so we'll drop that in and tighten that down. And we're gonna do that now. All right, guys, so we're here at work. We're making our titanium spacers. I programmed one and banged it off quick, but this is basically it. Titanium, it's nice and light. So while you're here, I don't know, I might as well show you how I make this thing here. But got a piece of 1 inch and 3/4 loaded in the machine here. So the first thing we're gonna do is turn down the OD. Unfortunately, because it's titanium, I have to use coolant, but we'll see what we can see here. I'm not being overly aggressive. Sorry about the reflection. All right. We just rough turn the OD. Next thing is going to be the finish face and OD. That tool's called a flash tool. It's got a roughing insert on one side and a finishing insert on the other side. And I can flip that tool, edit to any angle I want. This is what I do all day, every day. Next thing, we're gonna call up a 1-inch drill. And we're gonna drill out that ID. This machine's nice. I've showed this machine before, but it's basically a lathe and a mill in one. Well, that's not going to look too good. All right, so we got a hole drilled out there. Isn't that amazing? Next tool is going to be a boring bar. It's a dual spindle lathe. You part transfers. Use it as a tailstock. Done. See if we can find it. There it is. And that's it. So I got 2 of these. I got 1 more to make. Just like that. So I'm going to blast 1 more off and then I'll go home and we'll fit that up. So we're back. So we ended up using the thickest of the 3, the 465 shim, and that gave us the right 14-inch pound preload. So that's good. So we got the center section back in, and we're just gonna scrape a bit of silicone off and throw the cover back on. Just need to do a little brake line repair. That'll be it. We're back here. We're back for the next issue of Riley's car here. Riley's just cleaning up a little bit of a fuel leak here. Primed the fuel system, and one of the O-rings on the injectors had a little tear in it. So we just went to the shit horse and grabbed the shit horse intake to grab an O-ring off of there. As most of you guys know, or some of you guys know, we actually fired it up a week ago today, just quickly. We only ran it for a minute or 2, just to make sure that everything was kosher. Fired right up, obviously, you can see. So, exactly. I never doubted. And so now we got the coolant system all plumbed in, hooked up for the lower ribs for her pleasure rad hose. I actually got one of these, well, that's that mystery gasket swivel thermostat housing, so that kind of makes that hose nice and short. We got the steam port hooked into the water pump there. So yeah, I think we're just gonna double check the fuel system once again here for leaks, and we're gonna fire this thing up. Here's some chop.
Couple of reps.
What do you think, Rob?
Let's do it.
Yeah, in the previous video we just saw, it was at 950 RPM idle. Now it's at 750. So.
Looks good.
Sounds good.
I don't hear anything now.
Okay, so we changed that O-ring out to another O-ring and still had a leak, and ended up fine-tuning the fuel rail position a bit. But I think what we're going to do is I'm going to get a brand new set of O-rings, because these ones are used and they're a little flat spotted. So safety tip for us anyways, we're going to get a new set of O-rings, because that's not something, when it leaks all over the place. She's a squirter. Okay, so Mike,
It's recording, so you can go turn the key, Riley.
what'd you do? You lowered the aisle 750?
Yeah, it should be, well, yeah, depending what temperature it is, but it should be 750.
Got an oil pressure gauge here. It's in park.
Yeah.
Okay. Idling around 750.
750, yeah. I dropped it to 700 for a little bit there with the ECM controls on the HP2.
It's got a little flat spotted idle, so we'll have to look at that. But cylinder temps all look pretty even, within 10 degrees or so. It's definitely got more chop with less RPM. Haven't got the thermostat to open yet.
Oil pressure was good.
Yeah, it's 40 at idle and like 70 when you rev it up. That's good. No leaks underneath, other than when we filled the rad. Fire it up again. Yeah. gonna make a little wrap up here. So Riley's ecstatic. Everything sounds good. Everything ran good. We're very happy there. And we're just gonna show you one more thing we got here. I guess last week, all this stuff popped up on Facebook Marketplace. Oh, eagle eye here. So for the price the gentleman was asking, we couldn't say no, so we bought all this stuff. So we got our 90-10 struts, 50-50 rear shocks, Lakewood stuff. There's a rear coil-over kit, double adjustable upper-lower control arms, spherical bushings, yada yada yada, and the front, of course, coil-over kit and the billet caster camber plates. So I'm not sure when this stuff is going to go in, whether it's going to be, it's not going to be right away.
No, but I wanted it eventually, so it's a good deal.
So whether that's going to be put on later this summer, if summer ever gets here. So we'll get that stuff put on. If not, it'll be next winter's project, because we also want to upgrade wheels, tires, and that stuff. But we've used up this year's budget, so
Just about it.
just about, yeah. So yeah, we just wanted to show you guys that stuff. So pretty excited about that. It's all UPR stuff. It's pretty nice stuff.
And it'll look good on there.
I used to have the same stuff on the back of my car, and then I switched to Team Z, but I mean, really, it's all the same stuff. So yeah, we're pretty excited about that, and hopefully next video we'll have the thing mobile.
Driving, yeah.
Maybe do a little burn ski.
I'd like
Yeah,
that.
right on. So, all right, guys, this is a fun video for us. Thanks for watching. We'll check you later.
See you next time.
Line